Hey, it's Zane. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well today. Thanks for being here once again. In this video, I want to share with you what I believe to be the simplest strategy and mindset that will serve you well over a long period of time if you're able to just deploy this strategy and stay the course with it. Okay, now the title of this video, it's no secret, is Just Stack Sats. But I want to explain to you why this is so important, why this is a mantra that many long-term Bitcoiners believe in and encourage people to also deploy in their own strategic approach to Bitcoin. Because ultimately what we need to do as Bitcoiners is two things. Firstly, we need to be able to quieten the noise. Okay, we have to remember that Bitcoin is an emerging asset and there is a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt that surrounds emerging assets that are not mature. Okay, now Bitcoin is only 16 years old, and even though it has proven itself to be the best performing asset of all time, and it's a $2 trillion market cap asset, which basically puts it in a class of assets that have never failed historically, because no asset that's ever reached a $2 trillion market cap in history has ever failed. And so when we start to consider that and we look at what's happening, with the US government and Wall Street and these institutions that are all starting to embrace Bitcoin, we start to realize that the future for Bitcoin year after year looks clearer and clearer and clearer. And so we start to think about the implications of this in our own life, in our own wealth creation strategy. And I really believe that Bitcoin offers two primary things. Number one is wealth acceleration, because we've seen over the past decade that Bitcoin has performed by orders of magnitude and multiples above every other asset on average. And you can look at stocks, bonds, shares, real estate, currencies, gold, silver, you name it. Over the past decade, Bitcoin has trumped them all by a long, long way. And I know we get caught up in short-term, price movements, and we look at windows of 6 months and 12 months, and we know that Bitcoin over the past 12 months has been, beaten by gold and silver. But, we seem to forget that it took, silver 14 years to reach a new all-time high. So people who have held silver for a long period of time, they have really been waiting a long, long time, and I guess they deserve to be rewarded for their patience. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is only a little older than 14 years. I mean, it's a 16-year-old asset, and if you really consider what it's done since its inception over that time period, it's actually quite staggering to think that that it's outperformed all of the other assets to the level that it has. And so when it comes to thinking about the future of this, and I guess saving in Bitcoin, because when we save, what we're actually doing is we're hoping for a better future. So we are storing or sacrificing instant gratification, that desire to want to go and spend our money that we earn today. We're actually sacrificing that. We're lowering our time preference because we don't need that thing now. And what we're actually saying to ourselves is we want to store that value in a form of money that over time is actually going to buy us more in the future than it currently does today. And of course, that is a concept that we don't have when it comes to dollars. Okay, and the reason for that is because dollars operate on what's known as a debt-based system. And in a debt-based system, you have constant and never-ending inflation. And when you have constant and never-ending inflation, it basically means that the dollars that you earn today and save today will buy you less and less and less over time. The purchasing power of those dollars today will go down for the things that you need tomorrow. And so this all ties into why, as Bitcoiners, what we're actually looking to do is to become future focused once again, to start again like we used to do when we were kids, think of saving for the future. That thing that we want, that new bike or that new toy or whatever it might be, the new trampoline in the backyard that mum and dad encouraged us to save for. Back then, we used to actually save for it, and we had this thing called lay-by where we would pay it off over time, and then once we'd paid it off, we'd be able to go to the store and collect it. What a concept. Whereas now, of course, that's all gone out the window because we have credit cards and we'll put it on a card and worry about how we're going to pay for it later, or buy now, pay later, and all of these other things. But the reason we have all of that is because the value of our currency is constantly being diluted. And so people can no longer save their way to prosperity or just to even get the things that they want and need. And so it's a completely different world now. And as time goes on, the value of our currency will continue to be diluted because they have to keep creating more currency in order to prop up the entire system, to inflate asset prices so that the amount of debt in the system doesn't get exposed, and all of these kinds of things. And so, when we think about all of that and we think of what we're here to do as Bitcoiners, ultimately what we're looking to do is we're looking to store our economic savings and our energy in a form of money that is dependable, something that we can verify, something that is trustless. In other words, we don't need to trust it because we can verify that it's real. And this is what we're able to do when we store our savings and our capital in Bitcoin. Because what we effectively have when we buy Bitcoin is an allotment to this monetary protocol that cannot be inflated, it cannot be debased, so they can't create any more of it. So whatever you buy when you buy Bitcoin is yours and yours to keep. There is no dilution. Nobody can come along and change how much Bitcoin there is going to be in circulation to dilute the value of that which you hold. And so these are really important things to consider. And the way that we move forward and we have that future focus in all of this is we just adopt simple little month-to-month strategies that can help us ride out the volatility, the market movements, the corrections, help us to quieten the noise. Because invariably, like what we're seeing now, there's a lot of people out there who have opinions, there's price charts, there's noise in the media, there's noise on social media, and a lot of the people who are commentating on things like Bitcoin, they actually haven't done the work on Bitcoin, so they don't actually understand what it is. All they're doing is they're paying attention to the price volatility when priced in Aussie dollars or US dollars. And in effect, that's actually the worst metric to be measuring Bitcoin in, because ultimately, when you zoom out and you look at Bitcoin over the long term, you realize that it's immaterial what the price of it is actually today. And the other thing to keep in mind is, as Bitcoin holders, the goal is not to buy Bitcoin, this new monetary protocol that we've now got our savings stored in. The goal is not then to go and sell that back in to fiat dollars. I mean, it just makes no sense to do that. And we all know that there are implications for doing that in certain countries like ours, which of course is, capital gains tax. If you go to sell your Bitcoin, right now it's treated as property. So it makes no sense to do that. So instead, what we want to do is we want to just save in Bitcoin for the future, knowing that down the track, we're going to be able to transition into utilizing our Bitcoin as money, the way that it was intended to be used right at the outset. Satoshi's white paper stated on the top line, peer-to-peer electronic cash. And so you've got to understand and believe, if you're in Bitcoin, that by just stacking sats every single month, what you're effectively doing is you are compounding the value of your purchasing power over a long period of time. And if your time horizon in Bitcoin is 5 to 10 to 15 years, then it really makes no difference what the short-term price movements are doing. Your whole goal should be simply to end each month with more Satoshis, more sats than you began the month with, whatever that looks like for you. For some people, it's $100 a month. For some people, it's $1,000 a month. For some people, it's $100,000 per month, okay? But that strategy, that simple mindset of just stacking sats, and not only stacking sats, but then going to the next level as soon as you possibly can, and that is learning about how to secure your Bitcoin into what we call self-custody. So you are now the custodian of that money. That money is now in your control. Okay, there is no counterparty to your money. You don't need to seek permission from any middleman or entity in order to access your money. As soon as you get to that stage, you are now in a very, very, very powerful position, because not only have you got your savings stored in a mathematically proven compounding asset that is outperforming everything else historically, okay, which is fixed and finite, a finite form of money where we have seemingly unlimited demand coming for this protocol. So what do you think is going to happen to the value of it over time? But you also are the custodian of your own wealth. You are essentially your own bank. You are essentially the head of security of your own financial life. And so you only get to benefit from what Bitcoin truly offers in terms of wealth acceleration, in terms of wealth protection, by being your own bank, having censorship-resistant money, money that is seizure-proof. Nobody can take it off you unless you give up the keys to your Bitcoin. And that is a very, very powerful thing to keep in mind in all of this. So I just wanted to kind of shoot from the hip today, and I hope you got some value from what I'm sharing here. But ultimately, Bitcoin, even though understanding it is quite complex, executing on Bitcoin, once you understand that it is a very, very, very powerful place to park your savings, your capital, your economic energy, your superannuation, your retirement accounts, as many people are starting to wake up and realize. You just have to stay the course, quieten the noise, not pay attention to what's happening day to day, week to week, month to month. Know that you're part of an emerging monetary protocol that ultimately, many believe, as do I, is going to change the world. It is repricing a lot of the legacy assets in the financial system as we know it, including real estate. I mentioned last week, if you want to really see the power of Bitcoin, all you need to do is price your house in dollars and in Bitcoin and do the comparison of what that looked like today from 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and 10 years ago, and you'll begin to see that when you price your house in hard money, which is what Bitcoin is, the hardest form of money we've ever seen, instead of inflationary money, money where we have no idea how much is out there, it's opaque, there's no checks and balances. What do you see? You see the truth, that the value of your house when priced in hard money, which is what Bitcoin is actually falling. It's actually not just falling, it's actually plummeting. And so these are insights, these are things for you to ponder. I'm not here to convince you to buy Bitcoin. What I'm here to convince you to do is to go and learn about it, to study it, to realize that it is a hedge against the broken system that we have. And many would argue that with all of the chaos that is going on in the market right now, and when you consider that gold and silver ultimately are meant to be long-term, dependable store of value assets, they've been money for some 5,000 years, and yet they're behaving right now like speculative casino-type stocks and even different cryptos that are out there, not Bitcoin, but very, very differently. So just understand what Bitcoin is, do some homework. If you need assistance, if you need some guidance on your journey, if you want to get some clarity around where to start, how to onboard in the most efficient way seamlessly in Australia, I can share with you how to do that. I can help you by answering any questions you may have. If you want to learn more about self-custody and the different levels to it, because I'm a great believer that your self-custody setup evolves with you as the value of your stack grows. So I can share with you different approaches around that. If you're looking to set up a Bitcoin-friendly retirement plan and you're concerned about traditional superannuation as a way to retirement, do what many other Aussies is doing and roll over into an SMSF so that you can buy Bitcoin and take it into self-custody. I can guide you on where to get that done here in this country in a fully compliant way. So there's a lot to think about, but ultimately all you really need to do once you understand Bitcoin is to just play the long game, just stack sats, and you're going to ultimately win. I want to thank you for tuning in. Please like, please subscribe. If you're not yet subscribed and you want to hear more from me, if you value this content, the easiest way to support this channel is to subscribe, leave a comment, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. This is Zane signing out. Bye for now.